In the description under each video there is a link to the LGBT dating Telegram channel. Subscribe and find your other half in life.
Pav Lauren. The way back would be long, but this time I wouldn't mind. Nothing would change my mood that day. Absolutely nothing. I thought as I stared at Camilla, who was sitting next to me. The woman seemed to be more tired than ever. It wasn't for less, of course. Our last few hours had been busier than normal. I smiled as I remembered our time together inside that room. Every detail was imprinted in my mind, like a movie. Scenes and more scenes replayed constantly, causing me to smile like an idiot. "Oh God, Lauren, don't be silly," I whispered to myself, shaking my head. Camilla shifted on the car seat with the noise I had just made. The brunette slept serenely, with her head leaning against the window beside her. Sometimes she complained unconsciously because of the car movement. I pushed back one little strand of her hair, making the woman let out a deep breath. She had such delicate features, almost hand-drawn. Her lips were shaped by the gods, rosy and fleshy. A brunette with a body and features completely Latin, that attracted me so much. I pulled her body carefully onto mine, preventing her from waking up. And instinctively, Camilla snuggled in my arms quickly, accommodating herself in the best way possible. The weather was cold, but I would warm her up. I grabbed my coat and covered the woman, who almost trembled of cold. I placed a small kiss on top of her head affectionately and roamed my hands slowly over her back. It was good to have her like this. Camilla was the type of woman who needed to be cared for, loved and wanted every day. And I could be the person to offer her all of it. Through the rearview mirror I could see Alfred looking at us with a smile of who understood everything there. He would be the witness of a lot of things, like he always was. But I trusted Alfred. It's been years since he works for me, and he had never let me down. "If you tell anyone, I'll fire you," I said, smiling at the man, who laughed sweetly. "I won't tell anyone, ma'am. I'm happy for you." "You are?" I asked, confused. "Yes, I always knew it would end up like this." "How, and why?" I asked quietly as to not wake up Camilla. "I just knew. Glances are enough for us to realize what happens, ma'am. And if you allow me to say, your gaze towards that girl was different from the beginning." "Is it so obvious?" I asked, confused. "No, only who knows you very well can tell." I didn't speak. Was I being so obvious? I didn't want to fall in love. I shouldn't. I didn't fall in love. "Why do you have to do this to me?" I thought, looking at Camilla, that didn't even imagine the mess that was going on in my head. I wanted her, and I had her. But what about the rest? The company and everyone? I loved her sweet way, the smile with the tongue between the teeth, but at the same time I loved her decided and attractive way. That woman was admirable, her beauty was unmistakable, her intelligence. One day I would see Camilla in front of a big project, making decisions like a good businesswoman that I knew she would be. But what about Carla? She was still the owner of my desires, my wants. She was just sharing the position with the brunette in my arms. For a moment I thought about having both of them, and one of two things. I would go crazy, or I would make them crazy. It wouldn't work under any circumstances. And I was no longer that type of person. I would never do something like that to both of them. They didn't deserve it. The only option would be to let go of one of them. Who would you let go of? In that exact moment I found myself torn between desire and love. I shook my head at the thought of such possibility. It would be hard to choose. Or not. I wouldn't think about that now. Everything will happen when it has to happen. Destiny was already written. Camilla's paw. Cams? In the background, I could hear Lauren's voice, calling me in a unique way. Was I dreaming? I shifted slowly, feeling something wrapped around me. I slowly opened my eyes, and the first thing I saw was those bright emeralds. Lauren had her arms around me, and only then I realized that I slept all this time in her arms. Finally, Miss Cabello, she said with a smile. I'm sorry, I said with a shy smile. I got out of her arms, noticing that the car was already stopped. We were exactly in Miami, more specifically in front of the building where I lived. I slept the entire way. Oh my God. Lauren smiled. Don't worry, everything is fine. I asked Alfred to stop here to leave you in safety. Aren't we going to the company? I believe it's still working hours. I spoke, grabbing my phone to check the time. 4:45 p.m. I was right. I am going. I need to sort some things out. But you can stay. Lauren spoke affectionately. No, I have to go too. Camilla, stay. But Lauren. It's an order. Lauren spoke serious. I want you to rest. I'll expect you tomorrow in the company. Are you sure? Always. Okay, I spoke awkwardly. How should we say goodbye? Or how would we treat each other now? I straightened the clothes on my body and opened the car door. And in the same instant, Lauren pulled it, closing it again. I stared into her eyes that stared back at me in an intense way. What happened? Are you going to leave like this? Without saying goodbye to me? I smiled at her. I don't know how to do this now. Besides, Alfred is here. I whispered shyly, looking to the front seat where Alfred was. Don't worry about Alfred, and maybe like this. Lauren leaned in my direction and slowly caressed my face, sliding her thumb slowly over my skin in a tender affection. Her eyes followed every movement her finger was doing. I closed my eyes, just feeling everything that simple caress could provide me with. Her hand went to the back of my neck to then pull me in slowly towards her, sealing her lips on mine, calmly and patiently.
Thank you so much for your rating of the video. Please give me a thumbs up so I can continue with renewed vigor. Thank you.